Following the Russian Revolution in 1917, limestone mining ended under the city of Odessa. New industries like metalworking and machine building took priority in the new Soviet Union, and the catacombs were surrendered to the criminal underbelly of the city.
When the big mining had stopped, people started using the catacombs for all sorts of purposes. So then all sorts of criminals have been hiding here, like smugglers and thieves and pickpockets. They were hiding here from the police. They hid here, their stuff, guns, money.
But during World War II, the tunnels once again played a crucial role. In 1941, Nazi Germany set their sights on invading the Soviet Union. Hitler's plan was codenamed Operation Barbarossa. Odessa was a key target, and after a 4-month siege, fell to German and Romanian forces in October 1941. 82,000 citizens of Odessa were killed, and another 78,000 taken prisoner as slave labor by the Nazis. But a local resistance movement called the Partisans attacked the Axis invaders wherever possible, using the tunnels as their base.
One group of partisans, during the Second World War, they stayed in this part of catacombs.
There were around 45 such resistance groups, totaling 6,000 fighters. Their graffiti lines the tunnels, and their posters are on display, calling for their property to be reclaimed from the fascist invaders. In retaliation, the Axis soldiers sealed hundreds of tunnel exits, hoping to kill the partisans. In particular, one group of 13 men who were trapped is remembered.
All the exits were blocked. They couldn't go out. Just to stay sane in this condition, it's a sad story. All of them died eventually.
It's said that months of living and surviving underground in the darkness drove the partisans mad, causing them to kill each other. But one man did survive, Alexander Glushenko.
He spent another 1 year on his own underground. Then he managed to get to his home just nearby, and his wife hid him in the catacombs under their house for another year. So he spent more than 3 years underground and remained sane. He is really a hero to me.
While the catacombs proved to be the safe haven he needed, life above ground presented a shocking twist to his story of triumph. Because the partisans weren't as successful as hoped, after the war the Soviets wanted to suppress information about Glushenko and his fellow rebels. Instead of rewarding Glushenko, they silenced him.
Unfortunately, when the Soviet army freed the city, in a couple of days they just shot him dead. They didn't want anybody knew about the truth, what happened to heroes of the war.
In addition, all traces of the partisans' existence were removed from the tunnels, including their discarded ammunition. Some partisan groups had set booby traps to kill any Axis soldiers who came looking for them. These bomb traps needed to be defused and removed.
This was a time of the liberation of our city from the occupational Romanian and German forces during the Second World War. And military engineers, they had to kind of clear up the place. And when they finished checking, they had to leave these sort of messages for the rest of the people that this place is safe. So it says, checked, no mines. So it's a safe place now. You can see here the date. Since the 14th of April of 1944. It was a constant fear of possible nuclear war, which could start at any time. They built around 80 anti-nuclear bomb shelters in Odessa. You can see how builders changed the catacombs for their purposes. They didn't have to dig anything. They already had a big space underground. but they needed to fortify here some walls and ceilings.
As part of the natural geology, these rock layers are riddled with cracks. It would have been impossible for engineers to seal them all against the shockwave of a nuclear blast. So they came up with an ingenious solution to keep the shelters pressurized.
It was supposed to withstand very big pressure from outside. So what they did, they used their air pump system and they created positive overpressure inside of the shelter. This pipe, the big pipe for air, it's the same system works in submarines, in planes. So this way you create kind of air tightness, so nothing can get through from outside. That is why air filtration and air ventilation was so essential.
Power for high air pressure and other life support systems came from huge engines. They were lowered down vertical shafts, which were then sealed.
This place is really big, and it was designed for more than 5,000 people. So they needed a lot of electricity, a lot of power to keep this place in proper condition.
They also needed a reliable water supply, which was siphoned from deep within the catacombs.
These are actually water tanks. They kept water in these tanks and they changed water here on a regular basis. So they tried to keep it in more or less fresh condition. There is only one problem. Officially, it's not recommended to drink this water. Very high concentration of calcium, so that is why you shouldn't drink it for a long period of time.
Thankfully, Ukraine was never attacked during the Cold War, and Odessa's citizens never needed to stay in the shelters or rely on the calcium-rich water supplies. When the Cold War ended in the late 1980s and the military powers withdrew, the bunkers were abandoned and their contents looted for scrap. With such a storied past, even today the catacombs tempt trespassers with their 1,550 miles of history. With so much area to cover, it's impossible to monitor the full expanse.
People just come down here. It's really easy to get lost here.
At least one person goes missing in the catacombs each year. Fortunately, the city has dozens of amateur subterranean explorers who team up to find them.
It's very difficult for rescue teams to find those lost ones because this rock has a very interesting quality. It can absorb all the noises. So if you scream, if you shout, whatever you can do here, nobody can hear you just 10 meters away.
Despite the dangers, the local people think these tunnels have special qualities. And the Shustov Cognac factory, which sits above ground, opened a museum in a small portion of the catacombs in 2013 to commemorate 150 years of maturing their prize cognac down there.